I love you, or I love you more. Okay. I got from Molly last night. Yeah, yeah. So we know how to do soft skill communication. So yeah, we're gonna emphasize the communication skills, right? So well, thanks so much, and I really appreciate you for your attention and for your time, for your energy, and I hope you learned something from this presentation, and that you want to exercise and use it in your present and the future. If you have any questions, you could do right now. Yeah, later. Okay. So hold your question if you have, and then until we are finished. Well, thank you so much. Dorita.
Terima kasih. So please write down your questions. We will have it at the end of the presentation. Thank you. Once again, thank you very much, Professor William, for giving such an informative and comprehensive presentation for the first part. So let me step something from his explanation. We know that in this STEM education, you can use some of the areas. Yeah, so you don't need the four of them. You can use some of them. For example, you can combine between science and technology. Yeah, because maybe we are talking about science and technology, you can combine that, and then it will produce a tangible product as a solution to solve the problem. So from his presentation, I can get the key idea that he mentioned, using intelligence to solve the problem. Okay, so please use your intelligence to solve the problem. Why we need STEM education in Indonesia? Why? Why? You mentioned it before. Why? To make Indonesia competitive and worldwide. Yes, thank you very much. Once again, applause for Professor William. Alright, let's move to our second speakers. Professor Dr. Saida binti Siraj. But first, I would like to read her brief introduction. Professor Dr. Siraj is an emeritus professor of curriculum development and instructional technology at Faculty of Education, University of Malaya. She was awarded as the Malay Language Academy laureate in 2019 and Malaysian Woman Icon for Education in 2022. She has served as a lecturer for 40 years, and for Dean of the Faculty of Education since 2009 until 2014. Professor Dr. Saida Siraj was a founder director at the University Malaya Center for Economic Development, which was established in 2003. And if I'm not mistaken, she received her bachelor honor from University of Malaysia and PhD degree in curriculum and instruction from University of Pittsburgh, USA in 1990, and also served as head of education document standard (ECC) for Malaysia Qualification Agency. Her research interests include future curriculum design, innovation of models and modules for app learning, curriculum, future studies, especially for indigenous groups, and education for aging people. So, Professor Dr. Seda Siraj is a pioneer in DDR approach of research study in Malaysia and in the area of app learning in Asia beginning 2002. She is also a pioneer in the application of future studies in Indonesia. She has successfully established a UN Specialist Center for Education at the Faculty of Education to facilitate research, development, and expert services for the country. She has successfully produced more than 60 PhD graduate students and published more than 25 books and 150 articles national and internationally. Based on the criteria of professionalism, was chosen as one of the world-class professor in 2022 program in a university in Indonesia. Now she is the president of the Curriculum Association of Malaysia. So, we will talk about digital classroom, the potential of innovative research on pedagogy. So welcome our Professor Dr. Saida, please.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good afternoon. Thank you very much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My friends, very best friend, Professor William from University, I love you. And Dr. Pranti of Teachers Training, Deputy First, Second, and Third, and also lecturers and dear participants. Ananda yang dikasih sekalian, apa kabar semuanya? Allah. Baiklah, pada pagi ini kita telah pun jelasnya, saya cakap Indonesia dulu baru cakap orang putih, jelas tentang info yang telah diberikan oleh Prof. Thank you very much for your very valuable information on digital classroom and artificial intelligence. Okay, jadi in this morning, this afternoon, so that is my title, digital classroom, the potential of innovative research on pedagogy. So pedagogy is very related with innovative classroom. Teachers need to change now how to teach in the classroom during this digital era. Okay, next is the outline. Next is the outline of my presentation for the 35 minutes. We know that we begin with today's students use technology. Okay, everybody in this, I think in this room know how to use handphone, and you have iPhone, but you have now to go to artificial intelligence program because it is one of the way that you can solve your problem. So we have friends now to talk with artificial intelligence application. Okay, so student today actually 99% use technology. Even though I went to Makassar and I went to Malindo, what up there in the mountain. I think 10 years ago, they are trying to see whether they use mobile technology or not. Yes, they use the mobile technology during that time. So when I came back to Malaysia, I said, even in the mountains, students at Indonesia use mobile technology. Why not Malaysia? Okay, next is the student, get to the student. Next, I think I have to, next slide. Okay, next slide. Okay, actually, today's student use technology like IM, Facebook, Twitter, Skype to be constantly connected. As Prof. William just now said, we are connected through technology, and now we are highly connected to friends, family, information, and entertainment as well. Technology allows them to connect with more people in more ways, more often, and the current generation seamlessly transition between their real and digital life. So that is the true and the practical and the reality life now. So we cannot deny that digital education is online and in the world of Riau, University Islam Riau. Okay. Next, new digital media are empowering students to become researchers. That's my point here, researcher. And also storytellers, historians, and also culture theorists in their own right, whether constructing their own life stories or interpreting the life stories of others. The digital form transforms student capacity to synthesize, interpret theories, create new culture and historical knowledge. In this way, digital format potentially democratize learning and produce critical subject matters. So we cannot reject the digital classroom. Like my age also, I'm almost 70 a few months next. So I have to accept this digital technology in my life as a lecturer. And as a lecturer, maybe in this room, you too, a digital classroom that users explained just now. I think next slide. Yeah, as explained by Prof. William just now, is a classroom that uses computer, and tablet, the internet, and educational software, enhance student learning. The digital classroom can be an extension of the physical classroom. So we have also physical classroom, but we can combine, like Prof said just now, is a hybrid classroom. So hybrid and digital classroom or online learning is almost now in the mouth and in the brain of students and also lecturers. That's why in this short presentation, I will explain how can we produce more articles, we produce more research actually based on research problem, and then we can produce more articles to be as Prof said just now, to be a competition with the whole wide of others university. We should know Riau University at Malaysia. Please come to University of Malaya. It's not for only one half an hour flight. And then another 20 minutes we go round to the for landing. Okay, that is a digital classroom. Okay, and pedagogy. Okay, as you know, pedagogy is a science of teaching. So, as a teacher nowadays, for digital era, we need to change our style. Okay, we need to use our handphone. We need to use our other gadget to contact with students. Not contact personally, but actually a personal information, but for learning. All right, this is a digital classroom in the study of how digital technologies can be used the best impact. This is the study now in teaching and learning. Digital technology is a broad learning and may include both new and emerging technologies as well as more tried and tested technology. So today in this session, a short session, I will give to how several countries already implemented 30 to 40 years ago on digital learning, but Malaysia maybe recently and I don't know, maybe Indonesia is already implemented but not really popular. Okay, so example of digital pedagogy include blogging assignment and so on, as in the slide there. I think next slide, because this digital classroom showed pedagogy is an attempt to use technology to change teaching and learning in a variety of ways. So pedagogy, as I told you again, is a science of teaching. We need to know how to change from traditional classroom to digital classroom. There are various ways and various research that can be constructed from those digital classrooms, especially in Indonesia. Okay, that is the nature of pedagogy. I think next slide is nature of pedagogy. No need to explain because it's already explained by our dear professor. And the main advantage. Okay, next slide is the main advantage of digital learning. Okay, next slide. Teachers can be better personalized learning. So this is admitted by the whole world. Digital learning establishes a mindset that shows us to continue adapting to new technologies well into the future. That's why STEM is very important, explained by our friend just now, our professor. STEM is very important to make Indonesia higher than other countries. And effective learning can take place even when working remotely. Okay, while working remotely, also we can get information. Learning is in the process. Okay, next is the potential innovative research. So, saya hanya ingin menerangkan apakah kajian-kajian yang telah dijalankan oleh negara luar, bagaimana mereka berjaya menjadi sebuah negara yang membangun sebagai sebagai negara yang melaksanakan digital classroom atau yang dipanggil research on digital classroom. Malaysia and Indonesia need to be aware, perlu memikirkan apakah bentuk research yang perlu dilaksanakan kerana digital classroom need evidence based. Evidence based is a bukti yang diperlukan oleh kita untuk melaksanakan digital classroom. We have a lot of digital classroom all over the world, in Japan, in Korea, in Taiwan, in US, and also in UK, Australia, New Zealand. But the question is that type of pedagogy can be used in our digital classroom. Bolehkah kita menjadi guru yang mengajar pedagogi digital classroom? That's the big question. Okay, there's differences between traditional pedagogy with the new technology of digital classroom. So now we have to move. Okay, pedagogy's digital classroom can be designed only based on empirical data conducted in each school. Okay, each school we have different environment, we have different technology, we have different teachers, we have different attitude, different teachers and different students also. So we need to collect all those data, and the collection of research finding carried out in schools, various type of pedagogies can be projected, including now make teacher design for digital learning. We don't have to only waiting for others country to give you evidence base. But today I will focus on that other countries they conducted evidence based on the digital classroom. Okay, next example. Next is Australia. Okay, Australia project growing up digital in Australia. So it is, I think, in 2019 or maybe not only 2019 but maybe 2017. Gonski Institute for Education with partnered with Harvard Medical School, right, and the University of Alberta and Alberta Teacher Association on the International Digital Technology conducted research. 1876 responses, 1,800. Next slide. Okay. Responses to survey. Australia. Is it Australia? Sorry, no, Australia, not Taiwan. Okay, in the Australia, okay, they have 1,876 responses to a survey of teachers, principal school. All the teachers, all the principals who support staff in all sections. Okay, they had from preschool to year 12, which ran from September to the end of the school year in 2019. It is in Australia. And 43% of Australian teachers, principal, believe digital technology enhance their teaching and learning activities, while 84 believe digital technology are a growing distraction in the learning environment, only 42. 60% of teaching believe technology has positively impact. That's the most important. Kerana menggunakan digital, pembelajaran secara digital memberikan ruang kepada positive impact atau kesan yang berguna kepada pembelajaran kanak-kanak. Mereka sekarang ini bukan Upin Ipin sahaja, tetapi lebih dari Upin and Ipin. Itu hanya, ya Upin dan Ipin hanya melalui TV, ya, tetapi mereka juga sudah
sudah melihat handphone dan sudah tahu menggunakan handphone untuk melihat video game, only video game but videos and so on. Okay, 83%, 83% of teachers agree that students' socio-economic circumstances have some impact. Yeah, for sure, like Indonesia, have some impact access to technology they need for learning in schools. But sangat mengejutkan kerana saya lihat daripada 300 juta, 300 million people in Indonesia, they 80% of them have handphone. So why don't they use this handphone in order to go for learning? Right? Not only for connection, say hello every day, say hello, how are you? Sudah makan ke belum? Sudah tidur ke belum? Jam berapa mau tidur? Itu perkara biasa. Is not increase your knowledge. So use your handphone to increase your knowledge. Handphone connect to Malaysia student, connect to Prof. William, not only to say I love you, I love you digitally, but also ask him more about STEM. Okay, and then New Zealand. They have New Zealand? Yeah, New Zealand. Next is New Zealand. Okay, New Zealand, is digital technology good for student learning? Okay, New Zealand people ask about whether digital is good or not. Okay, they NCCER National Survey of Primary and Intermediate Schools 2016. 2016, now 2023. Do Indonesia do something survey to see digital, whether digital learning is good for Indonesia? Not yet. So you have to do now. Technologies, India, 92% of principals agree or strongly agree that teachers in their school are changing their pedagogy to increase the digital learning. So mereka sudah bertukar, 92% guru-guru sudah bertukar kepada bagaimana menggunakan digital in the classroom. And then 90% agreed or strongly agreed that the teachers in their school are increasingly using digital technologies to support access to the curriculum for students with special learning needs. Special learning needs like autistic student, autism student, or maybe like the student who need help much in their pedagogy. So they agree to use for special need education. And 70% agree that learning with digital technology has an overall positive impact on student achievement. So New Zealand also 2016 agreed to use the digital classroom, for digital learning on education. Oh, USA, yeah, sorry if it's from USA. Okay, USA, evolution of evidence-based, okay? USA is one of our icon. Okay, then evidence-based practices in online learning, a meta-analysis. Meta is a review of online learning studies. So Barbara Means and Frank, and with U.S. Department of Education Office, planning and evaluation and policy, they reviewed systematic review, so they call it meta-analysis review. I think you should conduct this research for Riau Islamic University. This research is a systematic review search of the research literature on from 1996 to July 2008. So identified more than 1,000 empirical studies on online learning. So Indonesia should learn from US to study empirical or evidence-based or review of literature to see how long, maybe how much article being published in the journal in Indonesia to see to come up with a new pedagogy. Okay, the meta-analysis found, right? The second one, the meta-analysis found, on average, students in online learning condition perform modestly better than those receiving face-to-face instruction. So sudah dibuktikan dalam banyak kajian melalui meta-analisis bahawa pelajar lebih berjaya menggunakan digital learning compared to traditional learning face-to-face. But we can combine face-to-face with digital learning. Slowly, transform our country to a developed country. The difference between student outcome for online and face-to-face classes was larger in those studies, contrasting condition that blended element of online face-to-face instruction face-to-face. I mean, we can, at the beginning, as you asked, meta-analysis study, we can take the finding and we can put in the summary that our Indonesian student need to learn through classroom, digital classroom. We start from face-to-face plus online learning. We start slowly, maybe 2026 will become 100% digital learning, inshallah. Okay, in Malaysia, we start with smart classroom in Malaysia, but not fully digital learning. We use interactive whiteboard in Malaysia. This is more private schools use the interactive board, and they says that they conducted digital learning in schools because economic, maybe based on the economic constraint at several universities, at several schools in Malaysia, so we cannot buy this interactive whiteboard or cannot buy many things that are not high technology, so we can use maybe hybrid. Also hybrid also is quite difficult. Okay, next, as I told you, innovative pedagogy for the future. This is evidence-based yang telah dijalankan 7 years for 70s innovative pedagogy oleh I think ada dia di situ. Next section, Malaysia, potential innovative research. That's my focus for today. Next slide. Potential innovative research. Potential innovative research, that my focus today. Okay, this is based on my suggestion. After read these innovative pedagogies on the future, so they use evidence-based selection. Evidence-based selection berarti mereka mencari bukti yang telah dilaksanakan di sekolah selama 7 tahun dan dijadikan sebagai contoh untuk dilaksanakan di sekolah-sekolah. Kita boleh ambil, tidak ada masalah. This is Horizontal Sharples and Friends, Institute of Educational Technology, the Open University, Milton Keynes, United Kingdom, and also France Education section, Digital Education. This is we could see the references. Okay, what type of 7 years gathering a total of 70 pedagogies? So evidence-based, okay, evidence-based. Next slide. Evidence-based ini bukti ya, kita enggak berbuat, kita kalau mau menjalankan sesuatu harus berdasarkan bukti seperti we have industrial regulation 1, 2, 3, and based on that we design our own digital classroom. So my point is innovative pedagogy, evidence-based selection. So this evidence of impact become a central component of the teaching practices who work and from in terms of learning and development can provide guideline. Okay, we can use that guideline, teaching and practicing how to modify, update the learning in order to achieve desirable learning outcome. So dalam perguruan pendidikan kita mementingkan learning outcome atau hasilan pembelajaran. So apakah hasilan pembelajaran ini must be based on evidence based. So apakah tujuan studi yang telah dijalankan selama 7 tahun dengan 70 pedagogi yang telah diperolehi. That's why I told you pedagogy. Pedagogy is the science of teaching, or maybe can be called also arts of teaching. Itu pengajaran, bagaimana mengajar. Kalau ada Perlu dilihat bagaimana senyum guru, bagaimana guru berjalan, bagaimana guru menggunakan Z, formula Z in the classroom. But now, maybe only 10% of that. Okay, the aim of study is to review and present set of innovative evidence. Okay, that's why I use the innovative evidence-based pedagogical approach that have the potential to guide teaching practitioners and transform learning process and outcome. For sure, if you use Indonesia, okay, as Prof. William said, Indonesia is a rich nature, and then can be used in digital as a digital classroom. You can study in the kebun, what is kebun? Ladang atau belakang sekolah atau dalam belukar atau dalam hutan. Still can use drone to for learning. That's digital, one of the digital classroom. Okay, so the finding next slide is the finding of these 70 pedagogies, new pedagogies in digital classroom. All right. 6 approaches that have the most evidence and potential for future education. One, they call it formative analytic. What is formative analytic? Okay, and then second, teach back. Teach back, we can use that technique of teach back. Okay, we can apply in our school and at this university, and then we experiment it within maybe 2 months, and then you analyze it and then submit for international articles. Okay, the third one is place-based learning, third one. And then fourth one is learning with robot. Okay, I think you can use robot for teaching agriculture. And learning with drone also, learning with drone. Do we have drone for this university? No, ada. Yeah, you must buy at least 3 students, 1 drone. And also citizen inquiry. Okay, that's a 6 finding from Sharple's research. Okay, what is next? What is formative analytic? Okay, you can read that. Formative analytic, yeah, adalah supporting the learner to reflect on what is learned. So what can improve, which goal can be achieved, and how to move forward. So you can take this technique, try it, experiment it, pre and post, and then you analyze it, and then you write it right up, okay, and then send the article to get your associate professor and professorship, inshallah. Number 2, teach back is also one this technique, means for 2 or more people to demonstrate that they are progressing toward a shared understanding of a complex. I think this is normal, but you can try it as an experiment. 3, place-based learning, derived learning opportunities from local community setting, which helps students connect abstract concepts from the classroom and text. So learning not only in the classroom or digital classroom. You can go out, you can go to the countryside, you can go to people, you can go to children, as Prof. William said just now. It is not only in the classroom itself. Go out, bring your gadget and learn something. Okay, number 4, learning with robot. Okay, this is maybe it's not yet because it's too high, but you can encourage your student to design a robot. Okay, it's a very good because you know Taiwan and also Korea is number 1 in design a robot for next 20 to 30 years. We are only user. Indonesia and Malaysia user. User, kita hanya pengguna, menunggu aja apa yang mereka buat. Sampai telefon juga kita tunggu mereka buat. Enggak mau. Kita mesti harus bangun menjadi pencipta. Dan pencipta itu bermula dari digital classroom and also STEM. Okay. And then drone, learning with drones. Okay, we cannot go into the jungle, but drone can teach you how to go in depth into the jungle, and you learn from what are in the jungle. And also tiger, lion. You can't meet tiger and lion, but drone can give you pictures and also video for you to learn about their behavior and so on. Okay, next is citizen inquiry. So the ways that members of the public can learn by initiating a joining chat inquiry led scientific investigation. So you can use an old lady like me to be your citizen, and you can ask me, interview me, and so on. There are many people, 65% in the whole world, the citizen, I mean, the old citizen will become 65%. Okay, next. That is the strange. Okay, we have no time, so we left that plain up slide. And then the various features of digital classroom. Okay, this is the features. Ini bentuknya digital classroom. Bagaimana bentuknya itu? Ya, simple layout that's easy to follow. Yeah, next slide. Various features of digital classroom where every features need to be investigated, right? So even though it's a small matter, but if we realize that is more investigation need to be done, so we can come up more what is that, articles, all right, and then you can promote yourself to be professor. Inshallah. A simple layout that follow, easy to follow, learner-centered content feature. So you can maybe try to see what is the content, and then self-paced class, whether it is effective or not, socially connected student group, whether it's work or not, and then a secure foundation to protect student data, and courses measured with quizzes and completion search, whether it's work or not for Indonesian, and courses measured with quizzes and completion is the same. Okay, so you can look into the effectiveness. You can try your own and explain your method, explain your mode of teaching, explain the way your pedagogy, and then you try to investigate, and not investigate, try to design, and then with the expert, and then evaluate it and send to international publisher. Okay, next. Others element, okay, that's what Prof. William said, collaborative, affordable, ease of teaching, upgrade learning, innovative content, interactive, accessible, flexible learning, and so on. Okay, need to be researched, and it is researchable. Action needed. So this is my summary. A new era has arrived with the internet worldwide, okay? And many intelligent devices connected to it. So nowadays, if you have problem, you can talk to artificial intelligence, they will give you answer. In Malay also can, in Indonesian language also can, but I don't know whether in Minangkabau language, whether it is other. Okay, will be up to instructional designers and educational to use advanced digital technologies potential to revolutionize education such that effective and efficient education is available to everyone and everywhere. As a conclusion, next slide. That is the last slide of the conclusion. The conclusion, right? Researchers on pedagogy in digital classroom will help the teachers and students with particular accessibility needs. Based on reviews about digital learning, there are many studies that have been carried out outside of Malaysia and Indonesia, and mandate readiness to teachers and students towards the new era of educational technology. The time has come to carry out an innovative study, especially evaluating the effectiveness of digital classroom as evidences of the technique and application. So that's all my presentation. Saya ingin mengucapkan terima kasih kerana menjemput saya ke Pekanbaru. Walaupun hanya setengah jam, tetapi ya ini kali pertama saya kemari. Sekarang baru berkelana sama Prof. William, saya akan ke Illinois dan Prof. William akan ke Malaysia. You will go to Malaysia, my university, insyaAllah, and Robbie juga will go to Malaysia next month, and all the participants in this room. So welcome to Malaysia. Selamat siang, maaf zahir dan batin, selamat berjaya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much for Professor Saida for giving our excellent presentation. Okay, to our lovely students, I would like to emphasize a point here. Professor Saida mentioned that most of Indonesian citizens own mobile phone. Ya, kita semua punya HP. Okay, so Prof. Saida taught you that you have to use your mobile phone to increase your knowledge. Not only to ask, udah makan, udah tidur, apa kabar saja. Okay, so use it wisely. Alright, before we go to the third speaker, actually I have a prize here. Saya punya hadiah, tapi selain daripada hadiah ini, will you ask Prof. William to give it to you? So I will take a picture of you. Okay, you want a picture of you and him? Mau foto berdua sama Prof? Okay, so my phone only ya, HP saya aja. Nanti you can ask me for the picture. Okay, so first question dari Prof. William, I want the male student to answer the questions. Saya mau yang cowok aja, yang cowok nggak usah. You want to answer also? Yes, okay. So please raise your hand. Tell me, sebutkan, sampaikan kepada kami semua, where is he come from? Dari mana beliau? Please, okay. You are the first one. Raise your hand. Okay, can you come here? Boleh ke sini? Come here. I will take a picture of you. Come on, Arya, please. Come here. Hurry up, hurry up. Okay. Okay, so.
My name is Soleha. I'm faculty I'm from PGSD. Okay. He's born in Korea. Okay. He's lived in Korea 29 years. So at 30, he's gone to America. Yes.
You can move here. Okay, jangan iri ya. Look at here. Okay.
Ya, enggak boleh gitu karena saya cemburu.
One for you, Prof. Don't worry, one for you. Okay. What a surprise, right? Surprise? Yes. Okay, one more questions. Satu pertanyaan lagi about Professor Saida. How long she has been teaching? Udah berapa lama profesornya mengajar? Sepertinya your friend here, the first one. Come here please. Yes, you. Yang lain sabar ya, at the end nanti ada lagi. Ini dua dulu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Afrina Priscilla Salim. I am from Education and Training Teaching Program and English Education. My answer is maybe 41 for 41 years. My answer is 41 years. Okay, is that right, Professor? Okay, 40 years, yeah, okay. You can come here, Aflina. One more, okay. Okay. Gak apa-apa, duduk aja. Okay, one more. Alright. Okay, so you need to meet me for the pictures, yeah? Find me. Alright, thank you very much.
Jealousnya sudah terjawab.
Oke, itu biar yang lainnya semangat lagi. Alright, we already have Dr. Jason here, our third presenter. Hello, Dr. Jason.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Oh yes, we can.
Yeah, that's great.
Everybody, please say hi. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Jason. He is a senior lecturer at English Language and Literature, National Institute of Education, Nanyang Technological University, Singapore. We hope that one day we can meet in person, Dr. Jason. Currently, he is a program leader of Bachelor of Art, English Language, STEM leader, research in Center of Assessment and Evaluation. He is active in doing research, publications, and chapters in scholarly book. One of them is Language Program Evaluation. In Tajedin and Grip Edition, Language Education Program Policies and Practices. Besides, he is a reviewer of some international journals. Some of them are TESOL Journal, Journal of Asia TEFL, Qualitative Research Journal, Cambridge Journal of Education. He is a professional membership consultant and invited keynote address in many international conferences. Without further ado, let's invite Dr. Jason to talk about creating digital classroom step by step for about 30 minutes. Dr. Jason, the room is yours.
Thank you, Falco. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. Selamat pagi, everyone. Greetings from Singapore. It's a pity that I'm not able to join you, but because I had a hip surgery recently, and my surgeon advised me not to travel in this immediate period. Yeah. All right. For those joining us via Zoom, I have put in a link and a code for you to enter. I think, yeah. I have included a link. So please do go to that particular website. It's the Nearport website. The code is there. Please enter that code. I'm going to share the code with those present with us. Okay, for those who are present, could you please whip up your mobile phone or smartphones and go to this website, nearport.com/student/, or you can use the QR code to access the website. Then once you get to this website, can you please key in the code LQ8BF. Professor Saida provided the background for my presentation, so it's a lovely transition here. So I'm demonstrating the digital classroom using this particular website. It's a pity that I'm not able to include all of you because I see there are 700 over participants here. My account only allows 10% of that, so it's about 75 students. So the first 75 to get in will be able to participate in the activities. And the rest of us can just view the activities as I present it. There's also a free version which allows us to host 40 students. So please feel free to explore this on your own after today's presentation, all right? just wait a little while for me to see. Yes, I have the maximum number already. Okay, so that's great. Okay, now I'm going to start the presentation using the particular app. All right. Okay, so so I'm demonstrating this app itself. So you have a look at it. I'm gonna start. Okay, creating the digital classroom step by step. This is my name. My name is Jason. You can just call me Jason. I'm from NTU itself, Nanyang Technological University. I'm part in the School of Education, but in this university, we call it National Institute of Education, which is actually the School of Education for the university itself. So this is one of the many schools. Now, for those who would like to apply for PhD scholarships, it is recognized by this organization, which I'm sure you're very familiar with. It's under the NTU, so we are part of NTU itself, right? We have quite a number of Indonesian scholars with us studying for their doctoral studies. Yeah. Okay, this is the order of presentation I will be sharing. Let's have a look at that. Okay, as shared by Professor Saida, the current environment that we have is many students or all classes that we have are typically found in a fixed classroom. This is how we have always been teaching, how we've always been managing our students over the past few hundred years. However, the current situation, because of the advent of technology, more and more schools are bringing in technological tools such as interactive whiteboards, which Professor Saida mentioned as well. And quite a number of schools are using laptops as well. And they have access to the wireless internet, which enables them to learn not just in the physical classroom, but beyond the physical classroom. Like what we are doing right now, because you're able to access the website for those 75 of us using the mobile phone. Now, this situation right now is accentuated by the fact that many of our students are using smartphones. They have smartphones. Every one of us right here have a smartphone. We can access internet right now. So the 75 of us who are in this near pod, you can access the slides through the smartphone itself, not just through the projector screen. And so hence, why don't we consider using what our students would have, the smartphone itself? And some of our students will have the iPad or tablet. That's even better, it's a bigger screen, so it's easier for the eyes. Now, this technology that comes with the smartphone allows our students to be able to access pictures, videos instantaneously. They don't have to wait for us to load it, but immediately they can access these pictures, access these videos, access whatever we want to show them. Right now, I'm going to share with us a video clip. Oh dear, I'm not sure if I... Okay, let me stop share for a while, yeah? Because I didn't activate the sound. Hold on. All right. Okay. Please view a short 7-minute video that was produced 11 years ago by an independent organization.
I think it is important to make school fun. And when school is fun, you don't get kids waking up in the morning and say, do I have to come to school again? So we embrace technology because it helps us make learning more engaging. I believe that when kids are engaged, when kids are interested, that's where learning takes place.
I'm sorry, there seems to be a problem with this. Let me try again.
get kids waking up in the morning and say, do I have to come to school again? So we embrace technology because it helps us make learning more engaging. I believe that when kids are engaged, when kids are interested, that's where learning takes place.
For those who are on the mobile phones, perhaps you'd like to look at the projector screen itself, because the video will be playing on the projector screen.
The kids are really from a very different world now. And really to reach out to the kids, you need to be savvy with technology. If you're not savvy with technology, you're going to lose the kids in the school.
What you want to do right now is, think of the Socratic questions.
Ngee Ann Secondary School is a typical school in Singapore where we take in students with different academic abilities, and we have about 1,512 students in this school, and they all come from the neighborhood. We get students from the age of 13 to about 16. Many students want to come to this school because of its strong program, especially in the use of ICT, Infocom technology. And the teachers here are known to produce very good teaching materials and very innovative teaching ideas to engage the students in the classrooms.
In the early 1990s, the teachers really are the monopoly of knowledge, and they are the one that comes to the class to deliver that knowledge so that the students can acquire them. But today, knowledge is no more a monopoly among the teachers, because students can get knowledge from a myriad of sources. And hence, the role of the teacher today is facilitation. That means facilitate students where they could get the right knowledge, how they could synthesize them, how they could discern the information that they get.
Velocity is defined as the rate of change of distance with time. Is it true or false? So I want you to tweet me your answer. So this is how you tweet. This is the format that you need to tweet. So you put in @ vote by tweet 1.
We look at technology very meaningfully, and we see how can we leverage this technology to make a very significant impact in the classroom instruction. I'll give you an example. In a classroom of 40, it is really impossible to get 40 students to ask 40 questions at one go. When we use the instant messaging tool, we open 40 windows to 40 kids. They could ask 40 questions at the same time, and the teacher could see their thinking on the technology tool that they use. And kids get more excited because they are using the tools that they are very, very good in using, not just the pen and the pencil.
Okay, so same thing, we will have 2 students to every terminal. If you have any issues with the terminals, raise your hand and I'll come to you. Okay? Now, let's go. What the students are doing is they are currently exploring this Second Life art gallery which the school has set up. Okay, and the works that are shown in this gallery is actually made up of local works that have been done by local artists. First of all, the online platform is very, very useful because it's something that really engages the students. They will be chatting with one another, about the works using the elements of art, principles of design, as well as reading other students' comments as well. If they would like to, they can actually leave notes for other students to read.
Web 2.0 world with Wiki, with your Facebook, your blogs, you find that it's a very participatory culture. It calls for a lot of collaboration. They no longer become just a consumer of knowledge. They actually produce knowledge.
What are the important things that you have discovered so far?
The election
and the tendency to lose their I find that students themselves are often on Facebook. So instead of looking at them and looking at Facebook as a distraction, I would rather use it to engage them. They even when they're stuck with certain question, they post up the question to the class, and you see responses, and they are learning from each other, which I think it's better because there's more motivation, intrinsic motivation for them to learn, rather than I tell you to do this and I tell you to do that.
I would say that the teachers in this school, myself included, we scan the globe for best practices.
Now, follow that URL. It will lead you to a Google Form. Okay? Using that Google Form, I want you to key down some of the things that will help you.
We are in the process of watching a model lesson that's being run by my colleague here. And the whole process of us watching the lesson is to gain some kind of points from her lesson, and also to provide our feedback. We discuss it to come up with a better lesson, because definitely learning grows with sharing and communication, and there's definitely scope for improvement for any lesson.
Alright, first of all, I understand that the purpose of this Skype session, we want to confirm the suitability of the pretest. Is this the common agenda that we have?
Yes, the common agenda.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Okay. Maybe we can think about is if we give it to the children as is, some of them might actually come up with the idea of the steepness of the slope.
There's always something new to learn. You're never at a standstill. You're always moving ahead, pushing boundaries, trying to discover new things, new ways of teaching. So it's exciting, because even if the pedagogy is sound, there's always a technology that's always challenging us, and we always have to find new ways to connect with the kids and to challenge them.
So I think we do look at how the world has changed, and teaching cannot stay stagnant. So the teachers recognize the fact that they cannot teach the same way they were taught 10, 20 years ago, that they have to be very adaptive in their methods. And when they do that well, they know they are going to engage the kids. And when you engage the kids, that is where real learning takes place.
All right, so this platform allows me to embed videos within the slides itself. So I don't have to move around, move a bit. Okay, for this next slide, I'll have some questions and activity. So for the 75 participants who are already in the app, I'll need you to respond to it. For the rest of us, possibly you can see at how the 75 have responded. So the question is, can education realistically be designed around personalization and mastery-based learning? Meaning we cater education individually for different students, not for a whole class, but for individual students, one by one, where they all learn at their own pace. If schools allow this to happen, that every single child in our classrooms learn differently, learn at different pace, some faster, some slower. Then the question for us as educators is, how can we then assess them? Since they're learning differently, different paces, some are a lot faster, some are a lot slower. Then how can we assess them? Can the assessment be uniform? Meaning, can it all be the same type of assessment? Or must the assessment be different? And why do you think it must be different? Why do you think it must be the same? You see the space below. Perhaps the 75 could just type in your responses, your thoughts. What do you think? Can students learn realistically on their own and their own pace instead of learning together as a class? And how can I assess that? Or for those who are in the platform at 75, perhaps you can type in your responses. So I will demonstrate. And so I typed in a response. Let's just wait for a few minutes for the 75 participants to post their response, post their thoughts. Please feel free to share your thoughts, what you think.
Anyone successfully join the Nerpod share by Dr. Jason?
Yeah,
Ada
that's
yang
75.
join?
75.
Ada yang sukses masuk ke dalam Nerpod yang di-share? No. I tried to join also Dr. Jason, but it seems that it's full of participants. Maybe our
Yes,
online
75.
participant can try to answer the questions from Dr. Jason.
Anyone would like to share? So normally in my classes, whether in primary school setting, secondary school setting, or in the university setting, this platform usually the students will rush to respond because they don't have to raise their hands to respond. They can just freely type in their response, and all the responses will be shared on the projector screen. They don't even have to use their own names. They can use anonymous names, so they don't fear whether their responses are correct or incorrect in a sense. Yeah. But usually these responses are not yes, no answers. There are no correct answers. These responses require a sharing of thoughts in that sense. So I'll just wait for perhaps another minute. If not, I'll move on in the interest of time. Yeah. No one would like to share? Right, perhaps we're a bit shy because you're not familiar with me. So that's okay. But once you have established a rapport with your class, usually this is an activity that encourages a lot of participation, right? Okay, I'm going to share the next slide now, a video as well. So those who are accessing the app on the website, perhaps you just look at the projector screen or the Zoom screen itself, all right? This was produced 2014. I'm sorry, I should play from the beginning. All right, I've removed a few who are not online. So for those who still have the code, perhaps can try joining in. Yeah. Okay, next section. Okay, this is a poll. So instead of discussion, this is a poll. For those who are online right now, would you use technology in the classroom? Can you just click the response? You can just click and then submit. All right.
Yes.
No, just click for those who are online itself. And you'll see. So then from the teachers page, you will see the responses. So you see the number of students who are online and see how they have clicked, whether they'll use it or not. So we've got 15% with a response and 81% with no response. So perhaps those are still online, perhaps you can like to click whether yes or no. So this is another example of using a poll embedded within the Nearpod platform, right? So just a few more seconds before I proceed. You can see the graph on the left. Yeah. So the blue indicates all those who responded yes. The gray bit are those who did not respond. Yeah. Okay. So this is an example here. So we got 24% who are active. So as a teacher, you will then be able to see who are the students who have responded, who have not responded in that sense. So that allows you that control as a teacher using technology in the classroom. Okay, why would you want to use digital technology in your classroom? Again, perhaps I'd like to, for those who are on the app or online, could you, okay, let me delete those who are not active right now, who are in the red, which means they are not online. They have perhaps left the app. So more can join in, right? The green ones are the ones who are active. You see some responded. You can see the graph itself on the left. So the different responses in that sense. Why would we use? So different reasons. Yeah. I see the number increasing, the green portion. So the graph shows us overall the responses. Then the table here will show their responses itself, the different students and their different responses. You see? Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Okay. There are two perspectives regarding the use of technology in the classroom. Professor Saida has alluded to them. So there are two dominant perspectives. One dominant perspective is that if we want to use technology, actually, they're not really learning. They're not actively learning. They're just passively receiving information. Another perspective feels that, hey, by using technology, we are ensuring they're active in participating as they are learning in that sense. But whichever the case, whether we belong to the first perspective or the second perspective, we need to take into consideration technology itself, because it is pervasive, it's all around us. Why not use them? Because it will engage our learners, right? Have a look at this long quote itself. Just to summarize, this quote is, right now we are at a stage of Web 2.0. Web 2.0 is, for example, like blogs, Facebook, wikis. It's no longer static. Things move. Since we're at 2.0, it's easy to respond to technology. Why not use them? We can use them for our own growth. We can use them to help our students be better. And because it is so easy to use digital content, unlike the past where you have to be a professional coders to use it. So it's something very simple for us to access. That's the reason why I'm showing us a Nearport itself. Something very easy for all of us educated. Yeah. In the past, there's fear, but now we can use it without that fear itself. And I won't read the quotes itself. Okay, these are, again, about 10 years ago, this is the research done, the big 4 tools that were used in social media, the blogs, blogs not as commonly used nowadays, 10 years later, wikis. Wikipedia is a huge platform, which I'm sure every one of us are familiar with. Social networking, for example, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and podcasting using YouTube's TED Talk. So these are the big 4 tools that we can use and exploit for our teaching. So the perspective we should be considering is we can't beat our learners. Our learners, our young students will be using these different platforms. Since they are using these different platforms, why not we tap on it? Because they are so interested in it. So why not we tap on it to help them learn using these different technologies itself. And Mishan Timis mentioned our students are very familiar with these technology. To them, it is not something new. In fact, it's part and parcel of our lives. For us who are a little bit older, perhaps this is considered new. For our young learners, it is not considered new. They can use it very easily. They don't see it as something difficult. And so, since they see it as part and parcel of their daily lives, they would expect to see that in their teachers' lessons as well, in our lessons. If we don't use it in our lessons, won't they feel that we are like dinosaurs? So this is possibly something they are thinking about as they come to our classes, come to our lessons. Okay, another poll. For those who are active, could you share with us any of the big 4s you're using in your classroom? A, B, C, or D? Blogs, wikis, social media, podcasting, and etc. And I'll show us the teachers. You can see the graph here on the left. Quite a number who are active are responding itself already. So they use quite a number using the podcasting, the YouTubes itself. Social media, you can see blogs, a number are using blogs as well. Yeah. Okay, moving forward, digital technology is already part and parcel of our lives. So it is important for us to then to think about, let's look at the blue sentences here, from parchment to paper. That's from ancient times. And then from paper to the blackboard. Again, for those who are old enough, you remember the blackboard. And then the transparencies using the projector. And then from the blackboard to the whiteboards. And now we're using PowerPoint presentations. And now from PowerPoint to something else. Yeah. And so then the teacher's role has to shift slightly. We have to guide our students to access technology, guide our students to use technology to help them in their learning. Because some students, they're very familiar with technology, but they tend to skim very quickly. They don't read in detail. So then it's our role to help guide them to do so. Because by skimming, they may not have the full understanding of what they're reading. Yeah. And then, of course, these are some advantages mentioned. Again, more than 10 years ago, there's interaction. There's instant feedback in a sense, like what the polls I shared with us, the responses on if we use them, the discussion platform, is instant feedback immediately. And a study done by Barron 2015, actually there are quite a number of students who still prefer working with a hard copy because when it's digital text, they tend to scan, like I mentioned earlier. So hence, as educators, we need to guide them. Okay, then we have what we call two categories of these mobile resources. One is the mobile materials. So that would be the website, the app that, for example, I'm using with us, and the activities, the mobile activities. So we design our lesson around these materials. So we call them the mobile activities. And in the interest of time, I'll skip some of the slides and move a bit faster, all right? So we tend to possibly still use the mobile materials as a reading literature, but it is more than that. We can utilize these materials for discussions, for more active engagement in that sense. So we should plan to utilize them through the mobile activities. So for example, like what I've been doing, the activities. If they are familiar with us, the students familiar with us, they will be actively discussing in a platform. They're actively responding to the polls itself. So then, of course, there's the reality versus the potential. There is a great amount of potential, but the reality is, will the students take it up? So as an example right now, not all the students are using it, assuming we are students, this platform, because of that lack of relationship with the educator, with the presenter, for example. Yeah. And of course, there are different types of evaluation. I'll skip through this section. The slides will be thousand, so we can have a look at them later on. So I'll just skip through this part here. Okay, let's have a broad understanding of digital learning. So can I ask us to, this one is open to everybody. Can you go to this Padlet? You can type in the URL link, or you can use a QR code and scan and go in. So this is the site itself. Based on what we know and what we have heard, what is your understanding of digital learning now? So I'm using a Padlet now. So possibly could we just type in our own understanding? Yeah, you don't have to indicate your names there. Yeah. So you can just add the plus, type in your response. This is all anonymous in that sense. So it doesn't require a name. This one, everybody has access. Yeah. That's great. We got a response there. What is your understanding of digital learning? For those who want to have a look at the
So everyone here, if you want to try to answer Dr. Jason's questions, you can scan that barcode and go to the Padlet activity.
Okay, I'll show us that. Okay, it's quite a number of responses now. So you can see from here on the top, the number of students who are using it. Quite a small number, actually. That's true. Students definitely have more control, so you can indicate the heart sign that you agree with it if you feel you don't want to type in. So you can respond by clicking on the heart to say that you agree with it. So the Padlet here that we are using is another digital technology that I use, another platform to engage the learners, to get them to respond. Like this one here, it doesn't require them to type in their names in a sense. Near Pod, they can type in an anonymous name if they want to. So again, this one is totally free. You can see the responses here are quite positive about the using of technology and how it is helpful for our students to learn in a sense. Right, I'll just leave it here, and then perhaps we'll continue in our own time after the presentation, right? All right, what is digital technology? Well, broadly speaking, it is just designing the lesson, delivering that lesson, and the use of technology for that lesson itself. So that is a very broad understanding of digital learning. Yeah. So the key emphasis for digital learning is use of digital technology. The use of a digital technology. We are all very familiar with designing a good lesson. We're all very familiar with delivering a good lesson. So now we're just adding on this component of digital technology in our design and our deliverance. Good. Have a look at this short definition. A very simple, short, succinct definition. What is a digital classroom? That's using electronic devices. The smartphone, which every one of us have. Right now, in the hall, every one of us have a smartphone. Okay, the benefits. Okay, there's an activity here, but guess I'll skip that activity in the interest of time. In your opinion, what are the benefits when we weave in digital technology for teaching and our students' learning? Well, some of the benefits would be our students are more engaged in that sense. They interact a lot more rather than sitting there and just listening itself. They are able then to, using the smartphone, access the information we want them to access. So they don't just look at the papers or the book that they are reading. And using technology, for example, the Google document, Google Docs, you can get them to collaborate, to collaboratively come up with a response to a question, a prompt that we have for them. And it is more personalized because they can respond on their own, based on their own thoughts, own thinking. They don't have to depend on their friends as well. Yeah. And of course, all this is made possible because of these devices that we all have and we are all familiar with right now. So these are some easy to implement tools. Nearpod, which I have showed us, the Padlet, which I have also showed us itself. That's a Kahoot. This is you have to pay. So I'm using Nearpod Padlet, the free versions. You can use that as well. So there's different ideas. You can just Google and check them out. All right. And of course, we have the Google tools. I use quite a number of the Google Docs because our students like to collaborate. So they're sitting on each of their own terminals and typing their answers, collaborate, then editing each other's work on the spot itself. for some of the activities during our tutorials. Of course, we end with some concerns. Some of us still feel that we don't want to use these gadgets because they feel they are distracting. It is true. I fully agree with you. It can be distracting because some of our students will be going on Facebook, going for Instagram, going on TikTok, going to do other things on their smartphone because we can't see what they're doing on their smartphones, right? So it is true. Hence, we need to lay certain ground rules when we utilize the smartphones. Yeah. And a huge concern that we have is the low-income families. They may not have the smartphones. Their parents may have it, but they may not have it. And so then what do we do? This is a key concern. So if we're planning to use the smartphone as part of our lessons, then we need to consider, what about these students? Can the school, can the university provide some of these resources for them when they are learning, as part of their learning itself? And then if we have homework that requires them to access the internet, they have to think whether the low-income families have access to the internet. So one possibility would be the free Wi-Fi offered by some places, by some shopping centers, for example. We can ask them if they have access to this. Are they able to go to these shopping centers? But then again, do we want our students to learn in the shopping center? So if our students don't have access to the internet, is it possible then to provide a learning space within the university, within the school, for them to stay back after school to work? So again, another concern. And in ending, technology is here to stay, and technology will progress even further. Right now, the one technology that has caused ripples around the world is ChatGPT, because our students can use ChatGPT to create an essay that they didn't write themselves, and it can come up with a beautiful essay. So technology is progressing, it's advancing. So it is futile for us to resist it, because our students, our young learners will pick it up and they may be better at it than we are. So hence, it is important for us to try to weave it into our lessons so that we can engage them better. Then some questions when we plan for these. Are there advantages when we use these technology-enabled materials? What advantages are there? Are we using it for the sake of using it? We should be using it because it helps us deliver the lesson better. And of course, we should know not all are useful. Or for those that are useful, why don't we try them? Just give it a try. Many years ago, I was also resistant. But when I gave it a try, I saw the response. The response was wonderful. So I started exploring different tools then to use with my students itself. Some references for us to look at. And with that, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jason. All right, thank you for joining us in online mode, Dr. Jason. Hope to meet you next time.
Yeah, this is the advantage of technology, right?
Yes, that's one. Okay, so I have some point here. When we utilize some kind of technology, we need to make our student involved in that technology integration. Not only the teacher, the one that use the technology, but the student also have to involve in the process. That want to be more engaged. Yeah, that one, Dr. Jason. And then Dr. Jason also mentioned about some of easy to implement tools such as Nearpod, Kahoot, Padlet, Quizlet, most of or some of our students already familiar with this. And as our future teacher, we have we hope that our students can utilize this kind of technology tools. All right. Once again, thank you, Dr. Jason. We will move to the last speakers. Okay, we have one more speakers. Let me read a little bit about her. So, Dr. Miranti Eka Putri, MED. She got her bachelor degree from English Language Education, Fakultas Keguruan dan Ilmu Pendidikan Universitas Islam Riau. In 2004, and then her magister is in TESOL, Fakulti Pendidikan Universitas Kebangsaan Malaysia. Dan her doctoral degree in Ilmu Keguruan Bahasa, Fakultas Bahasa dan Seni Universitas Negeri Padang. She joined Digital Leadership Academy, Kementerian Komunikasi dan Informatika Republik Indonesia, National University Singapore in 2021. She experienced as Secretary of the English Language Education, Fakultas Keguruan dan Ilmu Pendidikan Universitas Islam Riau in 2012 until 2016. And then she became the head of study program in 2016 until 2020. Then she became a Vice Dean of Academic in 2020 until 2024. Currently, she is the Dean of Faculty of Teachers Training and Education, Universitas Islam Riau, and actively being the Academic Senate of Universitas Islam Riau. She has produced many research and books in the area of reading and inclusive education. One of them is Material Development of English Language Teaching and Learning for Deaf Students. She is active in doing social education and attending conference. Ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to Dr. Miranti Eka Putri presentation.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Be honored I'm sitting in here among you, Prof. William, Prof. Saidah, and Dr. Jason. I suppose that you are, both of you and Mr. Jason, are presidents in one of the associations. So, yeah, that's a very surprise for me. And thanks God we met in here. Okay. Actually, yes, I am in English language education, but when I get down to see the society, so there is something happen in Indonesia, especially for Riau province. So I try to integrate my knowledge into special education. Okay, so I thought here all of materials from Prof. William, Prof. Saidah, and Dr. Jason. Actually, what I'm going to tell today still relate about that, but I thought it's not deep like the speakers explained. I do my best. Okay, so it's talking about the English language learning for hearing impairment students. Digital literacy, best local wisdom, and American Sign Language. So, why English language learnings? Because for become success, you have to cover all of the language. Language is very important. So I thought it's verbal or non-verbal, you have to learn and use that. But that's a problem in Indonesia, especially in Riau province. So today, actually, all of the members that come today consists of come from the 10 departments, and not familiar in English, but they want to learn and know about that. So that's why sometimes when the speakers explain, it's a little bit ambitious for the members. Okay, let me give the some informations about Indonesia. 2023, the data from the Ministry of Education, 273.52 millions, the total numbers of Indonesia. And 24.4 thousands are deaf or hearing impairment. That's the first point that Anchen in Indonesia, especially for Riau. And then a level of education for disability and is not applied well. So when somebody or parents have the disability students, the disability children, they don't know the regulation, not like US, not like America, not like Malaysia and Singapore. Just a little bit information about that. So if the children's are hearing impairment or deaf, they don't know how the regulation of education or others. So that's become a problem. Next. So, of course, it will be big problems if there is no information about the regulation of education and how for disability students. Of course, it will be a big problem in the future. So they don't know how to use the digital or something else. And when I go down, try to apply the steps, that's a problem. Okay, the big problem is a lack of confidence. No confidence at all. I don't know. So the paradigm must be changed. Okay, next slide. Next. For Indonesia, actually already applied the independent curriculums. I learned in Malaysia 2004, 6, around that. Already applied the independent study, something like that. But now we apply that start from 2020. We call that by curriculum Merdeka for primary, for elementary, and then the junior high school and senior high schools. That curriculum Merdeka. For perguruan tinggi, university, we call that by curriculum Merdeka Belajar Kampus Merdeka. So everybody can learn, like Dr. Jason said that learning must be fun and they choose what they want to learn. Okay, next. Back to the problems. The self-confidence become the big problem. The self-confidence from the parents, the self-confidence from the children. Next. The fact the disability students actually already have regulation from international world. They already have it, but Indonesia maybe it's not apply all about that. So already decide that one of the skill, next, one of the skill that have to learn by disability student, especially in this case is hearing impairment students, is reading, because reading is like we call that, when you're going to open up the gate of the world, you have to read something, you have to know something. So reading emphasized in this curriculum. Next. The government's on Ministry of Education already put the limitations or the characters or taxonomy, the rule of the skills. Of course, we already know is talking about the affective, psychomotoric, and cognitive. Like Prof. William taught us, there is something that you have to teach for your students, talking about the intellectual to solve the problem. And the problem is they have intellectual, they have the cognitive is the same like the others children's disability for hearing departments, hearing impairments, don't have a problem the cognitive at all. So based on the theories, it's talking like that. But because of the self-confidence, no information about that, the cognitive to make intellectuals of the students with the hearing impairment become close, not open up at all. Next. STEM, like Prof. William taught just now, actually relate with this method, scientific method, right? To solve the problem. So, because there's no problem about the cognitive or intellectual of the hearing impairment, STEM can be applied for them. Yes. Next slide. Next. Okay. So there is a stages in scientific method related to STEM that I choose because the positions of the respondent, of course, is not the same like disability student and non-disability students. So the step of the scientific method I was choosing that match for them. Next. So all of the scientific steps apply to the students with hearing impairments and choose match the evaluation to check it. So when you choose the method, the step of the method, like STEM, like Prof taught just now, and relate to or integrate with the digital application in teaching that Prof Saida taught just now, and Dr. Jason, like Padlet and others, or Poptun, try to combine it and choosing the right assessment for measure the competence in learnings. Okay, next, go on. So this is assessment that try to apply to the hearing students to measure the affective, the cognitive, and the psychomotoric from them. And the result, all of the students with hearing impairments got a good or high self-confidence in learnings. So all of the things that already given, I try to relate this and apply in the other situations because this is a special education and the results are high. In this occasion, I just want to the next slide. I want to give examples of the digital or applications of digital that I use when I set up the STEM for for deaf students. Okay. Next, materi kedua. So this is examples of the product that already use the digitals and STEM for deaf students. This is one of the chapter in the product for the students. Next. So in these occasions, I use local wisdom because the deaf students have a limit to know other situations. So some of the theories said that if you want to learn something, learn around you. So I try to relate it, integrate this. Go on. Next. So this is a learning objective. This is a step of the STEM. Next. Okay. Next. This is the local wisdom. Siak Place. It's around in Riau province. Next. I use the digital applications portal in here. So I put American Sign Language. Why is not Indonesia's language? Because when all of the deaf students meet the colleagues or the partner in digital room, they use American. So use American. All of the country have different sign language. So when Indonesia come or discuss with Malaysia by using the signs, it's not connected yet. So if they want to learn American, it's better for the deaf students use the American. So sometimes everybody just say that the same signs language, but not at all. So I use the American sign language in here. Please. So that's the signs of American Sign Language.
Where were you last week? You? Speak? Where? You? Speak? Where? I was in Pekanbaru. I speak. P E K A N B A R U. I was in Pekanbaru. What did you do? You speak. What? You speak. What?
Okay, enough. So that's all my presentations. The closing from all of the speakers. Try to combine all of the points of the speakers, but for the students with hearing impairment. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much for the brief explanation, Dr. Miranti Eka Putri. Maybe our student try to speak like what they seen at the monitor, yeah? So, ladies and gentlemen, before we close our session, again, I will give you something. It's a small thing actually, but I know that you want the opportunity to take picture with our presenters. Oh, I forgot to tell you, this presented by Gramedia, our bookstore. Okay, our sponsor. All right, so let's give a questions about Dr. Miranti Eka Putri. Oke, tadi Ibu Dekan ada bilang, if you want to go somewhere, you need to open. You need to open. If you want to be successful, you need to open the door. Ya, kalian kalau mau sukses harus buka pintunya dulu. Maksudnya di sini buka pintu itu adalah dengan reading. So, anybody here like to read academic book? Please raise your hand. Oh, nobody like to read book. Oh my God. You like to read book? Run. Okay. Tell us about what kind of book you like to read.
I'm like a read book genres. I'm like read academic books like Campbell, especially biology because I'm from biology education. I'm like read book because when we read book, we can look a word. We can know that everything it's large.
All right, we will invite Ibu Dekan to give a present to her. Jangan jealous. Okay. Let me take a picture. Book and pen. Look. All right, thank you, Ibu Dr. Miranti. Okay, that's all? No? Okay, I would like to invite a question. 1 or 2 questions to our speakers because Dr. Jason is not here, so I can let you take picture with him. Tak bisa kita nak foto dengan Dr. Jason, okay? Okay, maybe from the male student, saya belum dengar suaranya dari tadi. Yang cowok, please, if you have a question, address to your keynote speakers. More aggressive. Okay. So nobody from my left side. We go to the right side, yeah? 2 of you. One by one, okay? 1 by 1. Both of you. In the green one first, the green lady.
Thank you. My name is Siti Hamida, and my questions from Professor Dr. Doyong William Park. Hello, Professor. My summary in your material is about education and revolutions. And my ideas is from your material is if we want to smart, education is the answer. So, Professor, I want to ask you about if you to be student like me or like we are in this area, and as we call is for industry. So what do you do for your improve your skills to be smart teenagers? Thank you so much.
All right, thank you for the question, teenagers. Okay, so what will you do as the teenager to improve your skill? Okay, please, Professor William.
Your question was, what should I do to improve my skills to be smarter and richer in Indonesia? You want to do three things. One, study physics. Yeah. Well, you could do a biology and chemistry and other things, but the physics is the fundamental knowledge that you want to know. And the second, mathematics. Yeah. And then and the last one is English. Yeah. Then you can become a rich in 10 years. Yeah. Well, that's my answer to you. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, but I have a problem in the point two, the mathematics. Okay, thank you, Professor.
All right, thank you, Professor William, for the answer. We move to the next one. After that, we will take picture together, okay? Okay, please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, sir. Hello, ma'am, and hello, everyone. At first, I want to say thank you for this opportunity, and let me introduce myself, please. My name's Nur Hikmah Amelia Putri Hendry, and I am a class 2021 of Elementary School Teacher Education Study Program at UIR. Okay, and today I have a question for all of moderator, whoever want to answer me. The question is, like the title of our international seminar today, we talk about sport, language, education, technology, multicultural, and science. So I'm wondering about how to arouse people's interest in order to want to develop their abilities, especially as in speaking English, as in literacy, sport, science, and something like that. Because I thought at this time, at this era, especially in Indonesia, there are a lot of people who stuck, who reluctant, who put their laziness and fear, even though we are facilitated with various affordable facilities and infrastructure, some of which are even free. So I think it's a problem because we have to want, we need to want. If we don't want to, so we cannot try. So I just wondering how to solve it, how to make they want to develop their inside abilities. Maybe that's enough. Thank you so much for attention and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. You address your question to all moderators. It means me that you are going to answer your questions.
If you want to.
Oh, no. I will give to Professor William, Prof. Saida, and Dr. Meranti, please.
Thank you for the question. Thank you for your very motivated, highly motivated learning. Thank you for your good communication.
Thank you so much.
Thank you that you already motivate us. So, how to arouse interest? That what you want?
Yes. How
to arouse interest to who? To all the audience?
To all of us.
Okay. Just say, don't worry. Just say to them at the beginning, okay, you looking Don't. And second, you will say that it's okay, everything is okay, and I love all of you. That's the way you put them into your interest. I mean dalam bahasa Melayu itu kalau mau arouse interest people, you marry their eyes, and then you marry their heart. You may read their heart, and also you pukau. You know pukau? What is in English pukau? Pukau. What is pukau? Magic.
Attractive, maybe?
Huh? Magic. Magic. Magic tricks. Magic tricks in English, but pukau in bahasa Melayu and bahasa Indonesia. So you can pukau them to say, I love all of you. Thank you very much.
Okay. After Prof. Saida
answering, so I'm going to push the answer. Learning is not an obligation, but a necessity. So, deep learning. Belajar bukan kebutuhan, tetapi bukan kewajiban, tapi kebutuhan. Apakah Ananda wajib makan?
Tidak.
Wajib?
Tidak apa-apa, tidak
wajib makan?
Tidak.
Wajib minum? Butuh makan?
Betul.
Butuh minum. So change your mindset, become it's not obligation but necessity. Bukan kewajiban, tapi kebutuhan. That's it.
Okay. The two of you can come here and take picture with our three keynote speakers.
Thank you so much for the answer.
Okay. Hurry up, please. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have finally come to the end of this first SOLERAMS. I would like to remind you in the afternoon session, the presenters will be divided into 12 rooms in A building, FKIP A building, and the committee has provided you a place to take pictures. Jadi kalian bisa ke sana kalau mau dokumentasi, ada photo booth, silahkan take pictures di gedung AFKIP ya. Okay. On behalf of the committee, I would like to express our gratitude to the presenters, to our keynote speakers, and also the participants and presenters in online mode. We hope you are always in health condition. See you again in the next event. We hope that we have second SOLERAMS. I'm sorry for mistakes and inconvenience. Good afternoon, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Giving back to our MC, Miss Aulia.
Thank you to our keynote speakers and our moderator for bringing us to a very productive session. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally come to the end of today's seminar. Let's close the seminar by saying Hamdallah. Okay, we would like to say thank you very much for your active participation today. Thank you for your presence, and thank you very much to our special guest today. See you on the next seminar and have a great rest of your day. I'm Aulia Septiana Haris signing off. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Baik, diberitahukan kepada seluruh peserta yang memiliki kupon tadi ya, kupon konsumsi bisa ditukarkan di meja registrasi untuk ditukarkan dengan konsumsinya. Mohon antrian, tidak berebut-rebutan. Dan setelah ini kita akan menuju ke gedung yang pemakalah, khusus pemakalah. Setelah ini kita akan menuju ke gedung A untuk presentasi seminar paralel pada pukul 13.30. Sesuaikan dengan ruang yang sudah ditentukan masing-masing. Dan dihimbau seluruh panitia agar dapat ke depan, di depan panggung. Ditunggu, kita akan foto bersama. Sekali lagi, seluruh panitia dihimbau untuk segera menuju ke depan panggung karena kita akan foto